Hey, welcome back. We're going to be looking at expenses in depth. It may take a couple of these 3-minute videos, but this will hopefully help you be able to remove your fear of utilizing DTS in terms of expenses, per diem, and the accounting code. So on the expenses screen on the left that's highlighted, you'll see that our reservations show up again. My hotel, my flight, my car, and my other flight returning home. The next block you're going to see, notice there's 4 blocks here. Trip workbook. Never use trip workbook. Ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist. Reservation expenses is my second block. Other expenses and substantiating documents. You'll never touch reservation expenses yourself because there's no block to add anything. It's basically going to pull from your reservation. So the ones we're worried about are other expenses and substantiating documents. First, we want to add an expense. Now, because of the nature of our trip, I'm flying. Oftentimes what happens, because you're flying, you're going to need to park at an airport. So what we're going to do is add that expense now. So click Add Expense. Expense type is a non-mileage. Non-mileage makes sense because it's not actually our car doing the traveling. We'll get into that in a minute. The expense is going to be parking at terminal. Now, if you, let's say, for example, you didn't take a flight, you took a rental car as the main mode of travel, and you're just driving that rental car from your home of record to training and back, then you might select parking TDY for that to pay for it. Or if you're driving your own POV, you might select parking TDY because you're taking a car somewhere. But we're taking our car to the terminal, so we're going to select that. Select the date you leave, and I always estimate $10 a day for parking, no matter what, because there are a lot of varying prices. But $10 a day is usually what I estimate, so I did a week, so $70 is what we will put in there for our authorization. I'm going to add that. Now, let's say I want to add mileage, because no matter what, you should be getting mileage because either you drove your own personal car to the airport, and we're going to select terminal. If you were driving your own car long distance, not just to an airport, then you would select the TDY option. But because we're driving just to the terminal, we select terminal. I'm going to select the date here. And when you select terminal option, it just asks you to put in the miles you live from home of record to the airport. Versus if you do the TDY method, it will have you actually go in and put in the zip code of the place you live so it can calculate it that way. So let's say 30 miles, I'm going to add. Now what I've done here is gone in and add an additional expense type, because if you're driving to the airport, typically you're driving from the airport, and so you'll add it on the final day as well, and the total miles there. So right now we have 3 expenses. I'm going to stop the video here, pick it right back up. Again, 3 minutes is the nature of these videos. Continue talking about this.